Welcome, everybody. Welcome, all the dreamers around the world. Here is Pavel from The Better World, and today with me, Akira Sakano. And Akira is awesome, first of all, but she developed or she's working on a really amazing project, which is called the Zero Waste City. So what I have here that and Akira is director of the Zero Waste City, the first Zero Waste City in the world in Japan, projects that have been created in 2003. City which is doing separation of waste for 34 categories, and they already achieved 80% of recycling rate. However, their ambition is to have a zero waste until 2020. What we also know, it's turned out not only for the better things for the planet, but also for cheaper, about 1/3 from usual way of dealing with the waste. So, Akira, welcome. Mm-hmm. It is a pleasure. It's a pleasure for me to meet another dreamer. And by dreamer, we understand the people who actually fight for the better world, or they didn't stop believe the better world is possible. So it's great. It's great meeting you. Great having you here in this Better World series. I have some questions for you today. The first question is how is actually all this started? I know you have been in ISEC, so it's already you were working on some cool projects. How that happened that you are involved in zero waste and this project? And could you tell us something about this?
Okay. Wow, nice teaser. Okay, so I need to tell like two stories. Like first of all, like how Kamikatsu, our town, really started the zero waste by themselves, and then how I got involved in this project. So the first of all, in Kamikatsu, maybe you've heard, but in rural areas in Japan, in general, we had lots of like open incineration in the past, because everything like they produce as a waste was organic before. But after plastics and the other materials came in, that became a huge issue. That, of course, we had dioxins, we had lots of pollutions. Then the national government basically banned the open incineration. So every local government had to either build an incinerator or to have a recycling systems to cope up with the incineration process. So Kamikatsu also had a big valley of incineration for open space, but since we had a regulation, we need to change it. Then right after we also built 2 incinerators by ourselves, also the regulation changed that we couldn't use it anymore. Because of the dioxin issues, the restriction got much stricter. So that's why we also had another options to deal with the waste management. Then, of course, rebuilding the incinerator was very expensive. At the same time, asking the other towns or the cities to accept our waste was very also expensive. So the Kamikatsu as a government from the town office, they also had to think out of the box that, they can't burn the waste anymore. So that's why they really got into the zero waste concept for doing the recycling, reusing, reducing to deal with the waste, and that's why the recycling started. Then at the same time, from the citizen side, maybe you've seen Kamikatsu in the photos of the videos. We have lots of natures, lots of forests. More than 86% of our land is covered by the forest. So we have lots of water sources, clean airs. So then our water supplies into all the cities nearby in the Tokushima prefecture. So the people also had the mindset that, we can't pollute our nature. So that's why all the grannies, mothers, this generation really stood up, fighting against for the incineration to pollute the air or the water anymore. So from the government side, at the same time from the citizen side, that's why the zero waste really started back in Kamikatsu.
Okay, so what I understand, it's you were building these places where you were burning the garbage and burning the waste, and that polluted the earth a lot. So the government understood that, and citizen understood that. So you actually needed to do something to cut that out, right?
Right. And at the same time, the mothers from the town really, started the zero waste concept. And then that's where they started with firstly finding out who can actually support them with the recycling. So they contacted all the operators of the recycling nearby their towns and then outside the prefecture, etc. Then firstly, they started with the 9 categories only. Then it increased into 22, and then now it's 34, as you know. So that's from the Kamikatsu side, yeah, as a story. Then from my side, I'm not originally from Kamikatsu. I'm from Kobe.
I'm surprised by this information.
Yes. Then when I was in the university, I met this girl from Kamikatsu. Yeah, she and me are also in ISEC together. Then we were both very passionate about the environmental issues and environmental protection. So we asked each other, why you are interested in environmental issues. And then my friend, she said, because I'm from Kamikatsu. Yeah. Then her mother was the one who really started the zero waste project in the town office. So that's why she was very much influenced by her mother. Then that's why I firstly, I thought that's interesting. So I visited here when I was in the first grade of university. Then I was very surprised, or I was very shocked by the process or the people who's contributing towards the zero waste here in the town, because here in Kamikatsu, like whoever I met when I first visited here, like everyone's basically very passionate in their own levels, and then like from their own perspectives, they really wanted to contribute something about the town and then for the zero waste. So I was like, that's wonderful, like I haven't seen this, like big layer or the deep layer of the people who's really contributing towards one project. So that's why I was very, touched by this town. And then I thought that would be great to come back and then work with my friend here. Then right after I came back to Japan and then moved to Kamikatsu, the Zero Waste Academy also wanted to launch a new project at the same time to kind of shift the people here inside. So that's why both of us really got into the Zero Waste Academy directly, to also support from the governmental side or the non-profit side instead of the corporate side to implement the zero waste further. So.
Cool. Here in the better world, what we're trying to accomplish, we want to find the ways what the normal everyday citizens all over the world, yes, what they could do right now to not only create zero waste houses, not only create zero waste companies, but have influence on creating the zero waste cities. I'm interested in what I could do today to go into the direction of the zero waste home.
I see. So first of all, the very first step is to analyze your waste or know your waste. So definitely, like by looking at your waste and then like categorizing or segregating your waste, you get to know your lifestyles directly. How much you produce what, or how much you consume what, and how much you waste out of what you bought or what you produced, right? So that's the very first step. So just to know like what you are standing on in daily life. So by knowing it, you get to see, for example, like in a day or in a week, how much you bought and then how much you didn't even use, or how much maybe you didn't need it, or etc., etc. So first of all, like from there, you can actually rethink about your lifestyles, right? So maybe you don't need to buy this amount because you don't consume as much in this frequency. Or like maybe you can change this product to the other product so that maybe you don't produce this waste anymore, or something like this. So that's really the first steps.
Akira, so do you think that the main problem is actually the people are, consume unconsciously? So it's everything starting from there, that we're consumed too much and very unconsciously and buy products that we don't need, or too much, or?
Exactly. So both for consuming and then also for wasting, people are super too unconscious. So for example, when you put your garbage into the rubbish bin, or when you just put it outside to be collected, then you don't know, what you've wasted anymore. You don't think about where it goes, what it will be, right?
Yes, exactly.
So
Okay, so the first step will be analyze what I'm actually buying and what I don't need and what I actually need, and buy only the amount I need. Right?
Exactly. Then the second step is for you're producing waste. Then just to get to know also where it goes, how it will be treated, what it will be. So the citizens also, they need to be very conscious about what you buy. At the same time, to influence the producers, for example, the companies who produce each product, then that's really should coming from the citizen side, because companies' production is really dependent on the consumers. Yeah,
Okay.
so the consumption is managed by the people. The recycling can be very managed by the government.
So actually, the second thing that people could do, it's actually buy recycling products or products with recycling packages. So not only get more conscious, analyze and rethink, but also be conscious more about what they actually buy.
Yeah. Then I would say it's not recycled products, but recyclable products.
Oh, recyclable.
Yeah. Or reusable is better.
Okay, so what's the difference?
Because when you say recycling products, then for example, you use the paper which is recycled once.
Okay.
Yes, it's okay, but the more you recycle, the quality of the products goes down every time. That's the current realities. So that it's better that you buy the products which can be recycled again. But recycle should be always in the same level. So one product coming back to the same level, same quality, same products. For example, right now, the glass bottles, that's very typical, example that, you can wash it and then you can use it again. Then that's just washing cost. So it's much better than, melting all the glass and everything. Reusables. Yes. For example, in Kamikatsu, we have this kuru-kuru sideshow shop that everyone has their own, everyone in this town can bring their own, whatever they used already, but still usable, but that person doesn't need it anymore. So you put everything into the shop and then everyone else can take it back or take it whatever they want for free.
So how do you think, okay, let's say I'm doing a more conscious choices, even I have 34 categories, but what we know, it's need to cooperate with the actually government or local government. So now the question is how we could influence the local governments to actually do something about that.
That's true.
How we could influence the governments.
First of all, of course, as a citizen, you can always advocate. Yeah, of course, by yourself, together with your neighbors or the friends. Yes, you can always advocate. And for the first step towards for the government, firstly, you need to know your own industries. Yeah. So, for example, let's say Kamikatsu had a very tough time because we don't have much industry inside. We only had agriculture, some forestry. So, for example, if we have this recyclable metals, we can't use it within Kamikatsu because we don't use metals for the production. But for example, in your regions, if you have some industry who can use that recycled materials, then you can definitely tie it up with these productions that, within the region, you can still circular your, so that's first step.
That's great. So basically you were the regions support each other and they, for example, for free shipped the metal that they recycle for the production of the metal or aluminium or something like that. So they did not even sell to each other, but they support inside of the one government, right?
Yeah, that's possible, right?
Wow, that's great.
So for example, just to say, you need to start recycling.
Do you think in one day the entire world could support each other this way and distribute the goods which is recycled?
Yeah, that would be very, very nice because, I'm right now part of this community called Global Shapers Community, which is an initiative of the World Economic Forum. But the reason, our community is everyone under the age of 33 or under the age of 30s. Then the reason why the World Economic Forum started this community was that right now in the world, more than half of the world population is aged under 27. So the younger generation is the one really ruling or the creating the world right now. So that's why we need to be the one really, moving forward and then actually to build a world together.
Exactly. And let's say we want to create zero waste world, and the part of this journey is to create zero waste cities. So what do you think about this idea to sending the piece of paper to the governor, like, and let's say, I don't know, let's say 10,000 people from one city send this kind of piece of paper. Do you think it might have a real influence for the governments, or this is not the direction that we want?
Well, it's always possible, I believe, because that's why all this non-governmental organization really worked, massively in the world right now. So definitely. And then especially within the US, I've heard that there are so many, the state government already declared for like cutting waste production, zero waste even. So that's to also, support their direction and then also tell them that you are also watching them as well, right? So I think, yeah, it's powerful.
Okay. What are the other things that you maybe have in mind that we could push governments a bit to maybe accelerate the process, or to participate in the process faster?
Well, the success of Kamikatsu is also coming from our declaration itself. So back in 2003, Kamikatsu was the first local government in Japan who declared for the zero waste ambitions. Then, yeah, only because we actually declared. So even the town mayor changed, or even the town assembly changed, or the governor changed, etc., etc. They also had the mindset that you still need to achieve this one because as a town you declared it already. Yeah.
To kind of push them to declare that they're going to start working on the zero waste cities.
Yeah.
Besides sending the petitions to the local governments, how do you think what the everyday people could do in direction to create this zero waste city, zero waste world, and zero waste households?
Just one thing, even just decide one thing you're gonna bring around with you. For example, you can maybe like you've heard about the My Bag campaign, right? So instead of getting the plastic bag at the supermarkets, you bring your own bag. So BYO. So you can choose as, for example, maybe a bag or even a towel instead of using tissues or, just throwing everything away. You just bring one towel with you every day. Then that can be usable.
What's happening with those things that we actually cannot reuse or recycle? What's going on with them?
They are burnt in Japan, or in the US, I believe they get into the landfill directly.
So they just leave there and for 1,000 years or something like that.
But at the same time, also the matter is that you're using the resources. You're just consuming the resources as well as a paper. Yeah.
Okay, so it's basically from the trees, which they need to be cut down. Okay, so every time I'm actually buying a paper, I'm actually not supporting the trees, kind of.
Exactly.
Can we talk about these 34 categories?
Sure.
That's really interesting for me. So, can we go through all of them?
Yeah, because actually the categories, to be very honest, is changing even right now, and then it's even increasing actually.
I'm expecting that, so I'm not.
Yeah.
Yeah, even as you told me, you start with 9. Of course, when you developed or you understood the other ideas, how to recycle, reuse, and reduce. This is this 3R, right?
Yeah. Reduce, reuse, recycle. This is the right.
Reduce, reuse, recycle. So it's even the right order.
Exactly. Because, reducing is the first priority so that you don't consume the additional, right? Then reuse before, you even put your own energy. I mean, additional energy to recycle it. And then if you can't reuse anymore, then that's the time.
For example, the future world will have steel aluminum cans, or will get rid of aluminum at all?
I think I think these metal cans are pretty good because they can recycle into the same quality products. Yeah, because metals are very, good as a quality. So once you make it something into, then you can actually recycle into the same level, etc., etc. So yeah, aluminum cans will be again aluminum cans. So I think it's very good.
So they not produce more waste. And for example, with aluminum cans in your Kamikatsu waste center, do you sell them? Do you give them to the other companies who produce? What's going on after?
Yeah, we sell them, and then per 1 kilogram, we can sell it 150 yen, 55 yen, 155 yen per kilo.
Okay, how many dollars is that?
It's around $1.5 per kilo. Yeah.
And may I ask how many kilos you produce of those aluminum cans? I know the Kamikatsu, it's not a big city, so...
Yeah, it's not per aluminum cans, but all the metals we could sell back in 2014 was around 48 tons.
48 tons. Oh.
Then it can be got into aluminum or the steel or, the other metals. But if it's, if you say, look at this, cap and then see if it's metal, if it's aluminum or if it's steel, and that's confusing. So that's why we just put it all together as metal caps.
Okay, cool. Number 5?
Yeah. So it's now into the bottles category. So it's a clear bottles.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, white or clear glass bottles. Yes.
So window glasses, mirrors, ceramics.
Mm-hmm.
And what's happening with them?
Yeah, so they got crushed, and then they're gonna be used. It's actually downcycle. They're gonna be used for the constructional materials for the covering the road. Yeah.
Okay, cool. Mm-hmm. I didn't know that they could use glass for covering the roads.
Yeah, well, when you see this, concrete, the black roads, right? And then if it's shining, then that's gonna be that's the part of the glasses.
Wow.
Yeah.
Okay,
so
but is your government support this one as well?
Yeah, so basically the town government is the one either receiving the income or paying for the recycling, right? So that's with the town government budget.
Okay, cool. Yes. Thank you. And number 10?
Yeah, so it's the batteries. Yeah.
What's happening with the batteries?
We can recycle it as well, but as you know, batteries are hazard waste. So it costs a lot for the recycling as well. It's one of the most expensive recycling materials.
And I heard also that the batteries are really bad for environment.
Yes.
And why? Because
since it contains lots of hazard waste. Yeah. So just if it's explored in the environment, then that's going to really pollute the soil and everything.
Because, for example, I see on some cities even the special places for the batteries.
Yeah.
What they do with them?
They basically open it to kind of differentiate the materials, of course, because you can't recycle everything. Then put the chemicals out, maybe use the metals into, again, recycling for the metals, etc. But that's going to cost a lot of energy at the same time. It's also dangerous as a process. So that's why it's expensive to recycle as well.
Okay, I'm wondering, this is, off topic and I want to move forward. I'm just wondering, so just use the batteries as much as we can and reuse them as much as is it possible?
Yeah.
Okay. Is it anything that people could do to actually, I don't know, not buy the white plastic trays or something?
Yeah, just don't buy all the plastic packaging no more. So yeah, it's better that, for example, if the store is especially, if the store is small, then better that you just bring your own, tray or your own box to just get into your own box that you don't use the tray anymore, right? So number 16s are the old clothes or old clothes, I would say, or the curtains.
Exactly. And here you have what I know, you have this center when you actually recycling the clothes. So it's not even this kuru center, how you call that?
Yeah, Kuru Craft Center. Yeah, we actually have two Kuru shop and Kuru Craft Center.
So this one you actually take a clothes and you kind of
we kind of upcycle into new products. Yeah.
Okay. Okay. And is it working really well?
Yeah. So we kind of dependent on the grannies and we discuss with them here locally, and then think of like new products. Maybe it's a bag or like the small products or whatever. We were discussing today. Okay, maybe we can make like new aprons or something like that.
What the people could do in case of the clothing and recycling, reusing the clothes and stuff.
Yeah, definitely. First of all, like, don't buy additional, how can I say, fast fashion product. I'm not against fast fashion, but yeah, they're just, giving you all the seasons, like new products. So yeah, just choose whatever you can use for your lifetime or whatever for the length. Then, again, also, use this reusing system. So for example, like my clothes is recently all coming from the Kuru shop. Even this one. So basically people in Kamikatsu can bring in whatever they don't use anymore to the shop and then leave it there. Yeah. Then whoever comes to the shop can take it for free if you want it.
Okay, but is it a rule that they need to exchange that actually? So they need to bring to take, or just they can take anything?
No, yeah, exactly. But so all the waste in general are all weighed, and then it's calculated by kilograms, tonnage. That's how we calculate the waste amount. So that's why biannually we calculate how much amount we prevented from being waste.
Oh wow.
Yeah, so for example, back in 2014, our calculation was we had 10 tons, which brought into Kuru shop. Yeah. Then out of 10 tons, 9 tons were took out from someone else.
90%.
So yeah, exactly. That's pretty good.
That's amazing actually, because the entire world consume and buying a new clothes.
Yeah.
And actually we could exchange, or we can actually think about that. San Francisco declared to be first city who banned the plastic bottles.
Yes.
And that's
awesome.
That's right. That's it. So why the plastic bottles are so harmful for the world?
Basically, all the plastics actually, because it costs a lot of energy for the recycling, and then as I mentioned, the plastic can be only recycled once it's cleaned.
So do you think that the future world will be actually with no bottles, with no plastic bottles?
I believe so. And then no plastics.
But this is the way, with no plastic at all?
I think so. It's possible because we have other alternatives.
Like for example?
Yeah, for example, recently people started producing biodegradable plastics.
Okay.
Meaning that you can use it and then you can compost it. It takes a bit longer to compost than normal organic waste, but still it can go back to the soil. Or, for example, recently I've seen the video that Indian company produced edible cutleries. So they use a lot of like cutlery, like spoons or the forks in India, and then that's made by plastics, and they use it once, then they just put into the landfill. Yeah, but that's not sustainable. So they produce edible. It's organic. You can even eat it, or you can compost it, and that's very fast. Then
that's very true. Actually, I was on some restaurant lately, and they had a plate which you actually could eat.
Awesome.
That was amazing, and I didn't believe that, so I started eating that, and that was true. So that was amazing for me. So what we could do to get rid of the plastic? I understand we could buy the organic kind of plastic. This is which it's degradable.
Yeah, biodegradable. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, biodegradable. What else? What every day? What right now? Let's say we send a message to the millions of people,
Right.
and we want to
Yeah.
give them task or mission, and we want to say, so what? What? Don't buy those one, or buy only those biodegradable. What else? Get
Definitely don't buy plastic. So, for example, one thing you can say is that, okay, bring your own, as I mentioned already. Yeah, bring your own bag, bring your own tray, bring your own containers. Then don't just get the additional plastic packaging.
Did you have any information about this bio, those kind of factories or machines that produce energy from the bio waste?
Yes. So especially for the incinerators in Japan, yes, bio, but at the same time, the issue here in Japan is with the incinerator, we produce lots of energy by the burning energy, right? So that's why some people are really also encouraging to continue the incineration because they say that, okay, with the incinerator, you can still get the energy, then why not?
Yeah, but we'll still increase the temperature of the world and
amount of the waste as well.
So is it anything that people could do to with this, I don't know, buy different diapers or
Right. Actually, recently I got to see about G Diapers. That's a company originally from Australia, now moved into the US. So they have this reusable outside diapers and then flushable inside. So for example, when you use the diapers for the babies, you can flush the inside to the toilet, then you can reuse the outside. So first of all, that's going to reduce the amount of the waste. Second of all, that's really easier for people to get rid of the waste. Yeah, because you can just flush into the toilet. So I thought that's quite nice technology they started.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Thank you.
Yeah.
Cool. So in the case of the gum, is it anything that people could do to decrease that?
Yeah, it's really difficult because, for example, shoes, you don't have much of the options. But recently I heard in Europe and then in the Philippines, they are producers that make the shoes out of like different materials from kind of biodegradable materials. So maybe we can, as a consumers, kind of search for these alternatives. That's one option. Yeah, and then again, the other point is that 33 is the organic waste or the food waste mainly.
Okay, I want to ask here because I read about the Kamikatsu that everybody is required to actually you have this organic waste in their household, or it's not?
Yes.
Yes? Okay, so closing question that I want to ask.
Sure.
What was your biggest challenges on the way to creating the zero waste, and what will be our, as a humanity, biggest challenge to create the zero waste world?
So in the beginning, as I mentioned, the biggest challenge was to gain the understanding of the people, right? So started from like no categorization, just to put into the hole and then burn everything. Then turn it into 34 categories. It's a huge change. So that letting people involved or get motivated, they should have been lots of, communication. Communication. Yeah, so that's first. But the second step right now, once we already achieved the 80%, is that, how can we change the habit or how can we change the current economies or the consumptions so that, like, as I mentioned, the products needs to be redesigned. Then the consumer mindset needs to be redesigned. Then the last part, like how can we reuse or recycle the materials, can be redesigned as well. So that's going to be really the next steps that, how can we change what we use? or how can we change the person who uses it? So that's what I think.
Okay, so what I just I will tell in my words. So the biggest challenge in front of us will be actually to getting people to understand the importance of this one, and also to changing the habits, how they dealing with stuff, how they purchase and what they purchase. And it's come to go into the consumer mindset, to actually making people understand of all those stages, and change the behaviors that they already have to those more sustainable. So, okay, ladies and gentlemen, my awesome guest was Akira Sakano. So, Akira, that was really, I learned a ton, and I will do my best to use that information to create this, better world, and engage a big group of people to actually do that. So. Thank you for your time and your commitment and your heart in direction to making this world a better place. We need the people like you, who are actually, doing something every day, and show that to the world that we can do things differently. So
awesome.
thank you very much, Akira. What people can check out? Do you have your website, or Zero Waste Academy? Where the people can get and get to know more about you and the project and stuff?
Yep. So actually, we have a Facebook page on Kamikatsu and also Zero Waste Academy. So you can check out both. Ashamedly saying that we don't have the English website yet. So hopefully we're going to publish it soon. But meanwhile, please check us on the Facebook.
Yeah. Did you hear that, guys? So basically below that files, you're going to find the Facebook to the Akira works and the Zero Waste City. So please go, like, support, and be updated about the newest, maybe the new categories or everything what's going on there. And also, you're going to be informed as a first about the English website coming in. And who knows, maybe Akira will write a book about this one, or the Zero Waste Academy. Maybe there will be entire academy about educating. I don't know. Is it one of your plans?
Hopefully. Yeah.
Thank you for this time. That was really great. So I have this feeling that it's not our last meeting in the world in case of the creating the better world.
Yep. Awesome. Thank you so much.